So if you've tuned into this video because you wanted to know a little bit more around credit cards, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at what credit cards are. We're going to look at how they work in terms of their payment cycles. We're going to look at how do the promotional periods work. We're going to look at how do balance transfers work. We're going to take a look at the benefits of credit cards. We're going to take a look at the dangers of them. And then we're going to wrap up by taking a look at some of the best rates on the current market. So 7 years ago, I started uploading my first videos on YouTube, and about the third video that I did was actually on credit cards, and it got 21,000 views over the last 7 years, which says to me that maybe people want to know a little bit more about this. Well, I'm 7 years on. I'm a little bit grayer, I'm a little bit wiser, and I know a thing or two now. I've been using them extensively at that period of time, and I've now been using them for the last 7 years, on and off, all sorts of different cycles. And I've been doing things like balance transfers on them that have been really helpful to me that I'm going to tell you about in the coming video. So what is a credit card? You actually don't even need a card anymore. I've got a lot of credit cards where the card just sits on my phone, and I have it in my Google Pay, and I just pay for things at the shop as and when I need. But generally speaking, you will have a physical card. And what it allows you to do is put a payment on the card, and you're protected by the Consumer Credit Act. What actually happens is the bank give you the credit. So you buy something, and I'll talk around the payment periods in terms of when you buy something and when you have to pay for it shortly. But you buy something, you put it on credit, and then you get a statement through saying that this is the amount of money you've spent. And then you need to pay it off at your own leisure. I'm going to talk about how and when now. So how do they actually work? As a general rule of thumb, the maximum payment term that you can get between making a purchase and actually paying that off tends to be around 50 to 54 days. And the reason that is you have these statement cycles. So let's say we have a statement and your payment is due 14 days after your statement date. So your statement day might be the 10th of the month. So if you buy something on the 9th of the month, then you've still got to pay that off on the 24th. But you could buy something on the 11th of the previous month and you still don't have to pay it off until the 24th. So you have like 50 days to pay it off. So depending on when you make the purchase, depends on how long you have to pay that off. Now here's the kicker. If you do not pay it off, you have to pay on all your credit cards a minimum amount, a minimum payment. But if you do not pay it off, you will then incur interest. And that interest will be charged as an APR, an annual rate. And so let's just make it really easy. Let's say you buy something for £1,000 and your interest is 20%. Well, over the year, you're going to incur costs of £200. Roughly, you can split them over 12 months. And that's, as a rule, that'll be the interest that you're going to incur on the account. So what does it mean when it says 0% APR? What does it mean when it says a promotional period of 0%? Well, the brilliant thing about credit cards is you can use them to spread payments out on all sorts of things when you get a new credit card because they give you what's called a promotional period. The reason is that the banks and the credit card companies, normally owned by WorldPay, make money when someone makes a purchase. So they make money on every single transaction. So they want you to spend money on it. So let's say you get a credit card and these 0% payment periods have gone up and up. They used to be 6 months, 7 months when I was first started using credit cards. Now some of them are like 24, 30 months. It's unreal. So what happens is you get this credit card and then you don't have to pay any interest on it. So let's say you get a credit card and they give you £6,000 on it. You don't have to then pay any interest on that. So you could split that out over 6 months, let's say, and pay £1,000 a month. After that period, you will incur interest. You need to be really, really savvy about the percentages on these credit cards because some of them are astronomical. It shouldn't be used to substitute for like a low-cost loan, but if you're careful with your money, for example, every single year I put my car insurance on them and I have a 0% credit card, you can carefully manage paying that off because a lot of insurance companies, although some are getting wise to it, will actually charge you a percentage on top of your insurance. So you'll pay a fee on top of actually your insurance, which will make it more expensive. But if you put it on the credit card and you pay it up front, you sometimes get favorable rates and you can just pay the credit card off rather than paying off the broker that's lent you the money for the insurance. So when it talks about a balance transfer, this was something that confused me a little bit. I wasn't really sure on these when I was younger, but over time I've started to use balance transfers for things. Let's say you have a credit card and you've got £6,000 on it again, and you're paying a lot of interest. So sometimes credit cards can rack up 30-40% APRs. It's astronomical. So you just will not be able to pay it off. What you can actually do is open up another credit card and you do something called a balance transfer. So you go into that credit card once you've opened it up and it'll give you a promotional period. So it'll say 0% on balance transfers for 12 months, which means that you can transfer an amount from a card that you've got, which is a high interest rate, to the other card, and you won't have to pay an interest on it for that promotional period. So it might save you paying like 30-40% interest over a period of time. Now, balance transfers come with a fee. So they make a fee and they will charge you. So let's say it's £6,000 and they charge you a 5% fee. 5% would be £300. So to transfer that over to another card, you will actually pay a 5% fee, for example. However, you may have been paying 20-30% interest on the other card. So in the long run, it's going to work out better for you. Pay a flat fee and then you just pay 0% interest until the end of the promotional period. So what are the benefits benefits of credit cards? Well, one of them is that they're protected by the Consumer Credit Act, which means that actually if you make a bad purchase and something goes wrong with something, as long as you pay your credit card and your statement on time, you're actually protected by consumer law. The credit card company can be liable to reimburse you for the costs that you've incurred as a result of bad goods. The other thing is the obvious one, that sometimes you can spread your payments out over, say, 54 days. It can help ease with cash flow. The other thing is you can actually keep your cash in a savings account, especially with some savings accounts now running at 7%. You can actually put your cash in that account, which means that you'll have money in an account that's incurring interest every month, which then means more money in your back pocket. But we do also need to be mindful of the dangers of credit card. If you're not careful with them, they can build up very, very high interest rates. And so what happens is, if you're not only paying minimum payments sometimes, you don't actually ever pay the credit card off. You're just paying interest. And it's really difficult to get out of that rat race. So you need to be really on top of it. And I've always said, if you've got a credit card, it should be paid off every single month. And so where do we go to get these best promotional rates, balance transfers, these 0% APRs? Just simply go and look on Google. So many comparison websites. Scroll through, find out the one that's best for you. Are you looking for a credit card that can spread out your payments for a long period of time on purchases? Are you looking for a credit card that can transfer your balance from another one with a flat fee and extend a 0% period because you're paying too much interest? Take a look at them. Some of them are amazing. Some of them, if you have like a Nectar card with Sainsbury's, give you even better rate. But just go on to things like Money Supermarket. You can go on things like Money Saving Expert, I think, and just look through, see which one's right for you, click apply, and within a matter of days, the credit card will be at your home.